fantastic. But you know what? The referees are in that conversation
Of course
too.
they are.
They might get remunerated for it, but they're in that conversation too.
Yeah.
Like you say, if they didn't love the game so much, we'd be fucked.
Absolutely. No, we'd all be done. And to be honest with you, the only thing I'd say on this is that if you're still seething about a refereeing decision at a sporting occasion 3 days after the event, you probably need to fill your life with something else.
Even 3 minutes after the final whistle, Tom.
Precisely. Okay. So let's talk about have we done the stats in this one?
I don't know what we've done in this one. We've not done the stats. We've done our rant.
We've done our rant. We've talked about the game. We've complimented Jack Walker. That's the 3 things ticked off.
And Danny Maguire.
And Danny Maguire. Yeah, he did have a good game, didn't he?
Moon looked good on the highlights too.
Moon always looks good on highlights. Yeah. Okay. So what did the stats tell us on this one? Did Leeds deserve such a resounding win?
Well, Leeds only just made ground at a better average gain, like less than 0.1 metres per carry, but they still made 446 more metres than Salford, thanks to 15 more tackle busts, 5 more successful offloads, 4 fewer penalties conceded, 2 fewer errors, and a 17-5 clean break count. You would think they should have scored more. At least that means Salford's chance conversion rate was 4 tries from 5 breaks, so that was better than Leeds' 9 from 17.
Okay.
However,
individually, who stood out for us then?
Jack Walker with a try, 6 tackle busts, 101 metres, 3 clean breaks. Ryan Hall with a try, 164 metres, 2 clean breaks. Stevie Ward, 7 tackle busts, 144 metres. I think he's my man crush of the season now.
Stevie Ward now?
Yeah, outside of the Wigan squad, I think he's my Hanbury of this year.
You're breaking hearts all over Widnes, mate. What about Hep? What about...
Look, Hep needs to sort out of his new deal. Brad Singleton, 122 metres, Adam Cuthbertson, 134 metres, and just the standard 5 successful offloads from old bucket hands.
Excellent. Anyone stand out for the Salford Red Devils?
Chris Wellham, we've talked about him all season, really, 108 metres. I'd feel bad for him if he didn't make the dream team at this stage. Ben Murdoch-Masilla with 2 tries.
Okay, so what does all that do to the standings in Super League?
Loads to talk about here, really. Cas maintained their 8-point lead, but it's now Leeds in second. Salford third and Hull stay fourth on 25 points. 1 point only ahead of Wakefield in fifth. St Helens and Wigan are both a long shot for the top 4 at the split. They're 3 points back of Wakefield and 4 behind Hull, but at least they're safe in the top 8 now. Huddersfield in 8th just need 1 win to confirm their place, with Warrington 3 points behind and Catalan 4 points, and an unassailable points difference away from being able to avoid the qualifiers. Basically, they're joining Widnes and Lee there.
Yeah.
Widnes officially confirmed this week, but I think they felt like they were already there, obviously.
Yeah.
In the top 4 race, for the extra home game after the split, Salford have trips to Castleford and Lee. Hull host Leeds, then visit Huddersfield, whilst Wakefield visit Widnes, then host St Helens. Leeds should be secure now, but have games against Hull and at Wigan. Saints are probably out of it, but in a better place points difference-wise than Wigan. So Saints play Catalan at home before Wakefield away.
Mm-hmm.
So, throwing all these things forward, I would suggest Salford will win at least one of their 2.
Yep.
Hull will maybe not even win any of their 2, or maybe win both. It depends which Hull turns up.
Yeah, it really does.
They are either the best team out there with such a beautifully controlled offload game, a great meter-making game, and wonderful goal line defence, or an absolute shower of shite who can't keep hold of the ball, don't know when to put it in each other's hands, and when it gets near each other's hands, they can't keep hold of it.
There you go.
So we'll see.
Wakefield, though, I think will win both their games. I think they'll beat Widnes away, and I think they'll beat St Helens at home.
Well, I think that's the one, because if they win at Widnes, Saints can't make the top 4 at that stage then, can they? So the incentive falls more on Wakefield.
Yeah.
And they are at home in that game, and it hopefully would be a vibrant atmosphere and a big game. And we know how those plucky little Wakefieldians, whatever, those Wakey lads, they manage to pull themselves up for those sorts of occasions. And I think that's what's going to... I kind of am with you. We're both thinking it's going to be Hull then, are we, that are going to slip out?
Yeah,
rather than...
Unfortunately, Hull fans,
rather than Salford.
Yeah, I think it'll be Hull that drop out. So top 4 ends up being Castleford, Leeds,
Salford.
Salford and Wakefield.
Which is damaging for the average attendances of the season.
Cue a load of rumblings from people going, well, attendances are down. Fuck me.
At least we've got Leeds in the top 8 this year.
Jesus, that'll boost things up. Right, so what does all that mean in terms of predictions, Super Brew and Dream Team updates?
Well, we went the same last week, so we both went 4 out of 6, which means I'm on 89 out of the season so far, and you're on 99, so it's still a 10-point gap. In Super Brew, interesting stuff occurred. Ollie Smith retains the top spot, although his lead was reduced. Craig the expat Cass fan is wearing the yellow cap this week, protecting himself from the harmful sun rays down there.
As you should.
In Australia. And Tyler Cass fan's holding the spoon, so big news all over.
There you go. And Dream Team then?
Yeah, it was Stephen Bowie who stays top, and I think he's a good bet for that now. He's doing well. A few strong 700 plus scores this week, but Sarah Morgan's with 723 is the best score we had this week.
Fantastic. Okay, that is Super League taken care of. Let's take a look now at some results from elsewhere in the world of Rugby League. So, to other results then. It was round 21 of the championship. Everything okay with your water?
Yeah, there was just a weird bubble on the side, look.
Oh, yeah. You happy with the colour and consistency?
I'm satisfied to sip away.
Round here we have a saying, if it's brown, drink it down. If it's black, send it back. Okay, round 21 of the championship. Toulouse were defeated at home.
We don't have that saying, Tom.
8. It's a Simpsons gag.
Yeah.
We don't read that.
Oh, I don't remember that from The Simpsons.
Yeah, Ned, I think, is it Ned Flanders who said it at some point? I know a man will tell us.
Or is it like Mo? Because it's
possibly,
like a beer thing.
Possibly so. If it's brown, drink it down.
Yeah, Darts will
tell us. It's definitely a Simpsons quote, though, I'm pretty sure. Oh, well, I'm just about to say, it's definitely a Simpsons quote, I'm pretty sure. Right, Toulouse 8, Halifax.
Definitely a Simpsons quote, asterisk.
Yeah, definitely a Simpsons quote. Okay, or maybe it's South Park. The Simpsons did it. Toulouse 8, Halifax 16, Mark.
Yeah, and Brian Davies said, followed this one on Twitter. TO continued to be short of players, especially Jonathan Ford, and it showed. Every time they got in a good position, silly errors and penalties relieved the pressure. Scott Morrell ran the show for Fax, who were deserved winners. Victory for Fax at Fev on Sunday will see them edge out Toulouse for the final place in the qualifiers and rule out the first French derby in the English game. I think penalties were a big factor that Toulouse just couldn't get on top of, and without the leadership and stuff, it's
struggling.
Yeah.
It was Batley Bulldogs 36, Dewsbury Rams 20. My Bradford Bulls were defeated 10 points to 42 by Hull KR. London Broncos were 52 points to 16 winners emphatically over the Sheffield Eagles. Oldham were defeated 14 points to 32 at home by Fev Rovers, Mark.
And Brian Davies again, he gets everywhere.
Gets about, doesn't he?
He said, enjoyable day in the sun, probably 200 or 50.
Although, to be fair, gets about. He did follow the first one on Twitter. He wasn't in Toulouse, was he?
Yeah, true. He's been to Toulouse.
Take football away from Bri. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I playing that game?
Probably 250 or so from Fev, always in charge in this one despite not being very clinical. They have now secured their place in the top 4 for a second season in a row. Oldham looked poor. Why is it that it's always the fat old lads who want to get their tops off at games? The Oldham fan who obliged would have been 60 if he was a day, with a big daddy belly and an arse crack you could park 2 bikes in.
Drink it in, Bri. Always goes down smooth. Rochdale 33, Swinton 28 was the final result from this round of championship fixtures. What does that do to the standings, Mark?
Well, London and Featherstone now join Hull KR as confirmed qualifier sides, so the second year in a row for those two. Halifax are now into the top 4 at Toulouse's expense. It's very close now, with both sides only having Hull KR and Featherstone to play. This change in places is really significant for the standings. Closer to the bottom, it was a big win for Rochdale that takes them to 8th on 13 points, ahead of Dewsbury on 12, Oldham on 11 and Swinton on 10.
There you go. Round 14 of League 1 saw London Scholars defeat the Hunslet side 30 points to 16. We even got some feedback on this one.
Well, yeah.
Feedback galore, Mark.
As teased in the feedback and shout-out section, Dr. Hideous got in touch. He said, after their trial 6 minutes, the Scholars could barely get out of their own half. Both teams were going to get a massive bollocking at half-time with the score on 6-0. Jermaine Coleman is obviously the scarier coach, as the Scholars took all their opportunities in the second half. Hunslet brought lots of fans. Shame they didn't bring their A game.
It was Barrow 80, Oxford Blues 10. Toronto were 62 points to 10 winners over our friends at the Gloucestershire All Golds.
Yeah, and surprisingly only one review, although Lee was over in Perpignan this weekend, and I'm not sure what Wits and Sparesy were up to, but Brian Davies did get in touch. He said, another good run out for Toronto. All goals were spirited and scored some nice tries. Good to see the Canadian lad get a run out. Nearly scored a try with only his second touch in the pro game. A crowd of over 7,000, back up from the last two matches. Now they have returned to afternoon kickoffs. Fui might be 38, but he's still great to watch when on the rampage at this level. Superb signing to create a Season 1 folk hero.
There you go. Other results then, North Wales were 12-all. Well, it was 12-all between North Wales and Whitehaven, to put it another way. Newcastle were 68 points to 20 winners over the Coventry Bears. The South Wales Ironmen suffered a crushing defeat at home, 12 points to 70 against Doncaster. It was Workington 30, Keighley 30, so you got value for money there. And York City Knights were 68 points to 6 winners over Dewsbury B.
Yeah, I thought we were going to talk a little bit more about the Toronto game and young Quinn Nguati, who did show some really nice flashes. He set up a try with a one-handed offload after busting through a tackle. He put himself about in defence. He's got a lot of physical growing to do, but boy, when he fills out, he's going to be some sort of machine out there in the back row.
Fantastic.
So it was great to see a Canadian-born player getting the go in this Wolfpack side, and I think now, next week against Hunslet, if they've got any other players kicking around, get them in the squad. Against Hemel, sorry. Any other? Because come on, I could probably have a go.
Wow.
Do you know what?
That's a statement.
For all the all goals got battered in this one, there were some really strong performers for them. I thought the hooker. Steve Parry had a decent game, particularly in the first half. I think young Malachi Lloyd-Jones came on and undersized for a prop forward, but really put his body around and worked hard. And I was very impressed by Joe McLean in the second row for the All Golds, and I think he could do a job, even maybe at the next level up. So if someone wants to have a look at him, I would suggest, only on this very small sample size, I've not seen much of him play, but there you go. But for the Wolfpack, it was really, really good stuff. They were just so solid, so tough, so strong, despite giving away quite a few penalties.
But that's the way they'll play, because that's who the coach plays.
Exactly.
So you build that into your you legislate for that, don't you? So what are the standings like then in League One?
Well, they're top going into the split now, the Wolfpack. Barrow goes second from Whitehaven on points difference. Wins for York, Doncaster and Newcastle secure the top 8 and strengthen their playoff push. Workington, in all likelihood, have sealed the top 8 too now after a controversial late penalty to even things up against North Wales, but Keighley in 8th and North Wales in 9th are both on 13 points. Hunslet and the All Golds are on 12 points. The rest are playing for the League One Shield now. Next week, in the final game of the regular season, Keighley are at home to Oxford, North Wales are at home to Coventry, Hunslet host Newcastle, and the All Golds play Doncaster at home. Workington are at York but need a 179 point swing to miss out on the top 8, so that point will probably just about see them through, and I'd suggest from those fixtures Keighley are going to join them there.
There you go. Okay, round 18 of the NRL, a truncated set of fixtures ahead of Origin, saw the Sydney Roosters defeat the Sydney Rabbitohs by 14 points to 12.
Yeah, we had 3 Burgesses out there. Sam Burgess got 100 and something metres. I didn't write it all down properly. Typo there. George Burgess got 108 and Tom Burgess also played.
It was Penrith 16, Manly 8. The Melbourne Storm were defeated at home 6 points to 22 by the Parramatta Eels. And the Bulldogs defeated the Knights 20 points to 18.
Yeah, Joe Wardle played for the Knights in his more accustomed centre position.
Yeah, didn't have enough gas to chase down Moses Mbai for his breakaway try though, did he?
I didn't watch the game.
Moses Mbai got away for it. It was a nice little pick up about 10 to 15 metres off his own line and just gassed it. Serious gas on that kid. And Wardle did not have enough to chase him down. Right, That is the world of rugby league, well and truly covered for the 150th time. Let's take a look into the future now as we bring you our predictions for round 22 of Super League. Right, Mark, the weekend starts on Thursday evening as your Wigan Warriors side take on the Warrington Wolves. Two teams experiencing an uptick in form and fortunes. How do you see this one going, he said, knowing the answer?
Well,
you're not going to pick against your boys, are you?
No, I mean, Liam Farrell